911, what are you reporting?
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
From baffling missing 411 cases that leave us questioning reality to the elusive and legendary creatures like Bigfoot, we are here to discuss it all.
By God, if a hand come from the other side of that fence, grab this thing by the head and neck, just one-timed it.
1 o'clock in the morning, I'm awakened by lights. Bright lights. I'm talking about, Josh, the lights were so bright, it looked like daytime, so I thought it was the morning.
There's just something going around, attacking our sheep. And my grandma used to talk about this guy, Ketso, that means, Bigfoot in our language, so.
If you have ever found yourself captivated by the unexplained or intrigued by the mysterious, you are in the right place. Welcome to Mysteries Unknown. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live with Mysteries Unknown. I got my co-host here, Daniel. What's up, brother?
What's up, dude? Hey, you sound a lot better from our last live. I can tell you that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I was on the road. I couldn't get all my stuff working. My mic stuff wouldn't work last minute, so I didn't have my game together, and I was out of coffee. But guys, check this out. I got you tonight. We are good. We got coffee. We got coffee for days. So what are you drinking, man? What you got?
I am I got me some zero sugar.
Yeah.
Wild cherry Pepsi Zero.
Wow, getting fancy on us, man. Hey, that's awesome.
It's hard to find it up here. It's hard to find it at the Zero. You can find Diet, but Pepsi Zero has a better flavor. So
yeah, well, cool, man. So we got lots of stuff to drink, so we should be good, guys. But if you're jumping on here tonight, we're going to be talking about Bigfoot encounters as always. But we're going to talk about what is Bigfoot? Is it a more of the woo side, or is it more flesh and blood? And for you guys who don't know, you might think me and Daniel agree on a lot of this stuff, but we actually don't. We have just opposing of views when it comes to this topic. So we're going to get into that. We're going to be talking about some different stuff, lots of different encounters. I know Daniel's got a couple of encounters. I've got some Dogman stuff pulled up for you guys, and we're just going to have fun, drink some coffees, and hang out. But we'll say, hey, everybody that's in the chat, I think we do. Let's see, where's he at? Bigfoot Society's in the house, man. What's up, man? Glad you're here.
What's up, brother?
Glad you're here. Jeremiah is here. Always good to see you here, man. Guys, if you have not checked out his channel, go check it out. He does an amazing job, and good stuff as always. Got some members here with us tonight. We got Flower Child Deb. She's amazing. AAO is here, and a lot of good people in the chat. So if you guys are new, let us know if you're new. Let us know where you guys are from, where you're watching from. We like to interact with everybody here. So we already got some comments. Flesh and blood with some extra stuff thrown in. So this is going to be a good one, guys, because I have my thoughts. Daniel has the complete opposite. So we'll get into that in just a second. But let us know how you guys are doing. Hope your week's going good. So excited to see everybody. I know things have been kind of crazy. We got a lot of stuff going on. I've been super busy and haven't been able to do this as often. But how's your week been, Daniel?
Dude, my week has kind of been stressful in a way, but good as well. I'm the kind of person that absolutely just stresses out when certain things happen.
Yep.
And think the absolute worst. And then when the absolute worst doesn't happen, I'm like, hey, that wasn't so bad. So I kind of like ride the lightning for, a couple of days. And then when it's getting ready to strike and it doesn't strike the way I think it's going to strike, then I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad at all. What a ride.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I can understand that completely. I think it's just for me, I always think worst case scenario. That way I know exactly what I'm dealing with, and then I'll go from there. So I get it. But Silver Wolf Stones of the Past is here. What's up, man? Glad to see you. We got somebody from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna actually Monday, guys. I'm dropping a video Monday with several encounters from Oklahoma and Arkansas, so you don't want to miss that. I drop a live video, or not a live video, a new video every Monday at 11 o'clock, 11:30 Central Time. So you don't want to miss that. But Bubble says my sighting was back in 1980. Why? I think even skinning a deer in Michigan. Man, is that anywhere close to you, Daniel?
In Michigan?
Well, the area he's at. I know you spend a lot of time in Michigan, but that county.
I'm not really sure. Like, hey, Bobo, what's the nearest big city to you? Because what I do is I drive through Minnesota, Wisconsin, up the UP, over the Mackinac Bridge, and then I go into Pork Chops and Applesauce. Then I go and sorry, I see the name pop up. I can't help myself. But then I just go down to like Cadillac, Boone area, and then city area. Mount
Awesome.
Pleasant. Okay. Yeah, I know where Mount Pleasant is, but I haven't been there before.
Very cool. We're glad you guys are here. Also, we got Taff the Wanderer in the house. What is up, Taff? Always good to see him here, man. And we got Sean Russ here. I need to connect with you, man. He's got a connection down in, where the legend of Booger Holler. I messed that all up, man.
Boogie Creek. Boggy Creek.
Boggy Creek, man. Geez, the coffee hasn't kicked in yet, but I need to connect with you again, man, and get something set up for that. But man, what all you got for us? I know we're gonna be talking about some different stories and different stuff like that, but I know you had a story from the last time we did a live that we didn't get to, so I know everybody's anxious to hear that stuff. So
yeah, so I got I found a website that lists a bunch of different sightings and encounters, and it's a really cool site. And I just want to kind of throw this out here for people that I'm trying to get something together for you, Josh, as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to do an international, like Bigfoot Dogman show. So one of our lives, we can do that, because just on this side alone, I'm seeing stuff from Luxembourg, stuff
cool.
from the Philippines, stuff from Mexico. So
definitely.
So I'll definitely pull some of those stories from those locations as well. And then tonight, if anybody wants to just name a state they want to hear something from, I can probably pull something from there as well.
Definitely.
And so
definitely, that sounds good. Same with Dogman. I found a really cool site that has those encounters, and I'm going to be reading one from Pulaski County, Missouri. A pretty crazy Dogman encounter later on in the show. So, do you guys, if you have a specific place you want to hear an encounter from, let us know. And we're working on that international show. We hear a lot of different stuff, and had somebody ask about that. I think it was on the last one. So I'm excited, but we got a question, man. Let's see what this question is. Drew in St. Louis, does Bigfoot smell like rotten eggs, sulfur, skunk in a strong chemical odor that burns your throats and eyes? I'm asking for a friend, me. Well, yeah, that's great. Listen, here's my theory with that. And I could be wrong. I'd love to hear your theory, Daniel. I don't think we've ever talked about it, but I personally think that they maybe sometimes use that as a defense mechanism, to where if they want you gone, or they're trying to maybe let you know you're there, that they're there, or something like that. And I think they can control it and turn it on and off. But what do you think, man?
Yep, I think it's not only a defense mechanism. I think it's a way of just like a warning, kind of like a rattlesnake rattles its tail.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's ever picked up like a gardener snake or anything like that, people think it's peeing, but it's not peeing. It's like releasing like a musk. And I know a lot of animals do that. So
yeah, I think that makes sense. And that's kind of what I was thinking, is it would, make sense that happens. So it's a good point, man. Good point. So for you guys who don't know, and it's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but we're going to be talking about the woo. Are these things the woo, or are they flesh and blood? So everything woo related, is basically supernatural tied to it. It's tied to the orbs, the UFOs, the things like that. With my experience in my encounter, there was some UFO activity tied to it, to the area. I personally didn't have one, but it happened in the same area around this stuff. And a lot of these encounters I hear about, there's a lot of strange things that happen. Like this one that it's my most viewed video on my channel, but this gentleman got a hold of me, and he was from North Carolina, and he was a prominent banker, I believe. And long story short, he saw the stuff. He was out camping with his family, and he had these eyes. I think they were blue. They were out there, and these blue eyes come down, and he said they started really tall, and they come way down and looked right into his tent. So this thing cocked its head, and then it just kind of backed off, and there was another set of eyes there. And, a lot of people said it was Dogman. Some people said it was Bigfoot. But he said basically the atmosphere shifted. There was a lot of fear in the air. And he said the next thing you know, these eyes disappeared, and then they turned into orbs, and they were floating at the top, on top of them. They could lay on their back and see the top of them. And so it gets really strange, because he said later on they were driving after they had left, because in the middle of this, they prayed. His dad called on the name of Jesus, and these things left. But he said they saw faces. His dad saw faces in these orbs. And it's stuff like that make me lean towards the woo thing. I know with my experience, nothing crazy like that happened, but I definitely felt, I don't want to say a supernatural fear, but I definitely felt a different type of fear. Me and you both, served in law enforcement in some capacity. And you're going to be afraid. There's that kind of fear, but this was different for me. But I know in your experiences, they were just straight flesh and blood. Nothing weird happened. So we're going to talk about that, maybe the difference. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. Or do you think they're just flesh and blood, or do you think they're more than that? I'd love to hear everybody's opinion. So make sure to let us know. So now I'm going to drink some more coffee.
Yeah. Wait, do you want me to get on this one? Let's jump into this story that we had.
Let's do it.
Last live.
Let's do it, man.
All right. So let's try to move to all my office, my beat studio around a little bit. So, yeah. So, okay. So, from this story again, I find a lot of my stuff. I didn't realize how awesome Reddit was. Yeah. Reddit's pretty amazing. So
yeah.
So this one says, this is roughly 5 years ago. Me and my mom and my dad were camping at Mary Jane Thurston State Park just outside Grand Rapids, Ohio. It was around the end of August, maybe the beginning of September. Our campsite was in the front part of the campgrounds. Leading up to the two separate incidents, we occasionally heard what we thought could have been a bird of some kind screaming or screeching up in the trees, or at least it sounded like it was coming from the top of the trees. We'd hear it almost every night, but in a different location. We'd hear it in the trees behind us one night, and then the next night it would come from another end of the campground. Then the following night we would hear it from across the road. I've listened to the sounds of different animals, including owls, to see if that was the noise we heard, but nothing ever came close. Occasionally, we'd hear what sounded like branches being snapped, but thought nothing of it. I had my own tent, and that detail is somewhat important as it factors into the second incident. First incident, my dad woke up in the middle of the night to what sounded like someone was rummaging through our ice chest, which was sitting between our tents. He said he had heard whoever or whatever it was shut the cooler and walk away. He told me and my mom about it the next day. The odd thing is that nothing was missing from our cooler. The second incident happened the night after the first one. I had a little small TV and my game console in my tent. Man, what a way to camp.
Right? He's got the setup.
I was watching a movie when I heard something approach our campsite. Whatever it is went through our cooler again. I could hear the ice move around in it as it was rummaging through the cooler. I was still and as quiet as possible, but whoever, or should I say whatever it was, knew I was awake because it decided to put its massive hand on the side of my tent and push it in. I was frozen with fear, and I did not know what to do. It felt like forever, but it was only about 20 seconds before it took its hand from my tent and walked away. I didn't even think about looking for tracks the next day. We don't have bears in this part of Ohio, so I definitely know it was not a bear. This thing didn't take anything from the ice chest through it twice. I know when it put its hand on my tent and pushed in a little, I was frozen with fear. We know it wasn't some homeless person or anyone else because there were maybe 5 campsites that had anyone, and they were all in the back part of the campground.
Mm. Those are the kind of encounters that really scare me, man. Because, as you know firsthand from one of your experiences, there's not much there between you and the tent. There's not a whole lot there. So,
Nope.
That's really a strange feeling, man. Be out there camping and then something like that happen. That's pretty odd, man. No thanks.
Yeah, it's something that. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. These things, as big as they are and as strong as they are, there's no doubt in my mind that they are going to be able to get into something if they want to.
Oh, definitely. If they want to get into it, they're going to. If they want to get you, they're going to. And I wonder a lot of times why they don't. And we've talked about it on this show before, the missing 411 aspect. I'm not saying that they're definitely related or anything like that, but it makes you wonder, man, like why some people go missing if they run into these things and then some make it out. So it's an interesting topic, man. And guys, a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to say. I see one of our members popped up here. What's up, Janet? Glad you're here. We're about ready to send out the welcome packets for being a member. So we haven't forgotten. We've been working on them. I was waiting on something specific to come in. So just a small thank you guys for being a member. And there's a few days left on that. If you guys have joined as a $2.99 tier or above and you've not, email me your address. I need that so I can get that stuff out to you guys. And I appreciate everybody and all the support. But dude, thanks for getting that story together for us, man.
Yeah.
You always
Now, hey,
on top of that.
you said there's a few days left. So how many days left does anybody that's joining today that's not a member, do they have to join?
I think there's 3 days left. So if you guys join in the next 3 days, $2.99 or up, you're going to get a welcome package from my wife. Something small, not anything major, but just wanted to say thanks and I appreciate all the support. So I've got a pretty interesting Dogman encounter. But before we get into that, man, what's your thoughts? This is where me and you differ. Why do you think Bigfoot is just flesh and blood, man? What's your thoughts on that?
Because I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen it 100%. And I've seen what it can do. At no time have I seen anything outside of it being flesh and blood. I never saw it cloak. I never saw it appear out of a portal. I never saw any lights in the sky. I never saw a light beam down from the sky that transported it from the USS Enterprise down to down there. I had one attack my camper, the trailer that we were living in on this land. I heard it run by the camper. You could actually feel it run by. I heard it walk up onto the deck. I saw it stand up as it was on the side of the road as we were driving by it. My brother had seen 2 juveniles, come to the wood line and listen to music while we were playing music and whatever out on the front deck. So yeah, I don't think that they're anything other than flesh and blood.
I can see why you think that way, Ben. And everybody, like, here's the thing I love so much is we're all taking educated guesses. And one of the things I look for is if somebody comes on here and they're like, I'm an expert, I almost instantly turn them off because I'm like, there's no such thing as an expert. But, I can see why you feel that way, man. And I think, I look at things from a biblical perspective, and I know you do too. But I think when they're flesh and blood, they're flesh and blood. But when they're not, they're not. And I think that they can kind of go back and forth between those worlds. And that's why people are seeing all the other stuff, the woo stuff, and then they're seeing just flesh and blood stuff. And so, but, I don't know that we'll ever know. Maybe we will someday, but I don't know, man. But Janet says they can be spiritual and flesh and blood. That's how I feel. I feel like they can be either or. I mean, I've talked about a lot on this channel is I think they're Nephilim or fallen angels. And I think those are two different things. But I definitely think that they fall into that realm, or maybe the descendants of the Nephilim, something like that. But, I mean, it's not like you can go up to one and ask it, right? I mean, you were close enough to do that. So, I mean, you were pretty dang close.
Bro, it's like 12 years old.
Golly, man. I don't think anybody really understands it's not had an encounter, how much of a mark these things leave on you. And because they definitely do. I know mine when I was young. I had my encounter at 14 years old, but when I was young, it really affected me. But as I got older, I buried it. And so it's just funny how those things happen. But guys, speaking of that, on Monday, I'm going to be sharing all 3 of my experiences on Monday's episode. So you don't want to miss that. So 11 o'clock Central Time, 11:30. But let's see. AAO says, and they can be electrocuted just like us.
I believe that.
I do too. I'll be really, really, curious to hear more about that. She's got some amazing stories that hopefully she'll show or tell us someday, because she's had some wild experiences. Michelle says, "Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. You're good. We're just getting into it.
We just started."
And so just for you guys who haven't seen it yet, I brought the extra coffee. So we should be good to go. Hopefully we'll be good to go longer than last time. So we haven't been able to pump these out as much as we were doing, man. A lot of live stuff has been happening, but we'll get back into the swing of things. So also Daniel's got some stuff in the works that I'm really excited about for him. And he can talk about that if he wants to, but pretty excited.
I gotta get my video. I gotta get that aspect. I gotta get.
You'll get it. You'll get it. But guys, you're gonna be excited. It's gonna be good. So, anyways, we're excited about that, and excited to have everybody here. If you guys are just jumping on, thanks for being here. So, wow, 3 encounters that'll be interesting to hear. Yeah, they were all spread out. When I was 14. I think 16, and then the last one was about 4 or 5 years ago. I've kind of got this thought that if you have seen one, your odds of seeing another one are really high, whether that's because you're aware and you start looking, or because, for whatever reason, the supernatural aspect of it, I don't know, but definitely impacted my life. So we'll get into that on Monday, but I'm going to read this encounter. So this encounter happened and now Daniel, I can't do like you guys. So I'm dyslexic. So just bear with me. If I'm not as good at reading these things off as Daniel, he's the pro. And anyway, so Constance says coffee is life. Just say, you're a pro, man, especially when you throw the accent out there.
Listen, boy, I ain't no pro.
You is, man. You are. All right. So this one comes to us from Pulaski County, Missouri encounter. This is a Dogman encounter. So I'm going to start here. I should start off explaining that my partner and I are experienced Bigfoot investigators who are in a unique situation, as we have a family group living in our research area. Last October, during a full moon, my partner and I were on our hilltop, having quite a bit of success, while 2 juveniles and 1 adult that we noticed, we could hear them walking in the leaf litter. And every once in a while, we could hear a clack or a wood knock from different directions. After a while, it seemed the feeling of fun for them dissipated and became a lot more cautious. Mike heard something to our north and went a ways down to investigate while I stayed up by the camp to make sure it wasn't a diversion. He came back in a rush and said he had seen one of the young ones come out of the woodline running from the other side of the fire break. And it was following. He said he couldn't comprehend it. It was about 6 foot tall, with pointy ears and a long snout. At this point, I have to say that neither of us have gotten any creed to the Dogman, Wolfman, Grassman theory. Now, I don't know what Grassman is. Have you heard that term, Grassman?
Yep.
Okay, I haven't. So you have to explain that to me. I haven't heard that. We just thought that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go finish. Sorry.
Okay. We just thought it was a mistaken identification of a Bigfoot or a bear. I had purchased a .40 caliber handgun earlier that day, so it was in my vehicle. After Mike had explained what he had seen, I retrieved my weapon and loaded it. All the while, we could hear the two young ones chattering and the big ones stomping all to our backside. They were mad and upset about something, and they never acted that way with us. I had Mike take me down to the fire break to where he had saw this creature and with spotlights. We scanned the area. We could hear something moving around with a few short growls. Finally, Mike caught it in the spotlight going between the trees, and what I witnessed is something I would never have dreamed of seeing, except on a movie screen. A 6-foot wolf walking on its hind legs. I fired my weapon in the air, and it turned to the southwest into the woods. We cautiously made our way back to the camp, but we could hear this thing pacing us to our left. As we got back to the camp, we kept listening to this thing approaching us from the woods. Mike turned on the spotlight, and I leveled my gun wherever the sound was coming from. It was approaching us without fear, and I felt both. It felt like it was stalking both of us. As it was one of the juveniles that Mike had witnessed, it came out from between the trees, and I shot it square in the ribs at about 20 yards. We measured the next day, and I'm a very good shot. I saw the wound, and I know without a doubt I hit it. It fell to the ground, but immediately got up and ran to the southwest. We could hear it crash through the brush, and we never heard it fall down or trip over anything. But it continued to head in its way in a pretty much southerly direction down the hill, paralleling the fire break. We were both freaked out at this time, broke camp, and left. The next morning, I loaded a few extra clips, and we went back up to see if something had died or something was close, or if it was wounded. So we felt we had to track it down. We did track it from the point where I shot it all the way down to the canyon, and even found where it made such a ruckus when it fell. The leaf litter was all upended and was fairly easy to track. At that point, we did find a perfect canine track in a mud ridge, but it was over 8 inches across. The thing absolutely baffled both of us as to what it was, and there was no blood on the trail, none. We both saw the bullet hit, yet no blood. We tracked it all the way down to the canyon until we lost the trail. We talked to a Native American couple we know, and they immediately said skinwalker. We contacted a few other investigators to try and figure out what had happened. I mentioned before that neither of us took any creed from any Dogman reportings, but I do know that neither of us wants to experience it again, and I have never gone into the deep woods unarmed since. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. So how do you explain that? Like, they obviously hit it, right? If the story's true and they hit it, they saw that it was wounded, but there's no blood. They're experienced trackers. You could tell that they were by the way they were talking about it. I mean, what do you do with that?
Well, I don't think I ever recall ever hearing an encounter that someone has talked about where they've actually killed a Dogman. Now, I've heard encounters where people say, I shot this thing point blank range, and it just looked at me. So I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah. I really don't. Honestly, I really don't know. And here's the thing. If I ever go out, honestly, I got to find... I got some old silverware around here. I think I need to melt it down.
That's what we need to do.
And then I got some hollow points. I think I might drop some liquid in there and liquid silver.
There you go. That sounds like a good idea. So guys, let us know what you think about that story. I would probably not be going out in the woods anytime soon, but AAO, thank you so much. She gifted an unknown membership.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Very, very awesome. Let's see. Janet says that's because Dogman is 100% demon. That I really believe that. I think it is just pure evil. I mean, Bigfoot, you can kind of question back and forth what it is, but Dogman is just it. That's just pure evil, in my opinion. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
Hey, my buddy who made that thing for me, he's in the chat.
Awesome. Why don't you show everybody?
I will. I got a couple things. I got a couple things. So everybody, I have a buddy. He's in the chat. His name's Jeremy. And I want to show you what he's made. He does 3D printing, and I've gone to a lot of shows, like craft shows, where you see 3D printers on there, and they have all their stuff, and they really don't take the time. They just print it up and then put it in a box so they can sell it. My buddy Jeremy, he's been doing this for probably about a year now, and he does a really, really, really good job of what he does. He takes time. He's not going to put garbage out there. So, and this took him a while to make because something kept happening with the design, and he wasn't happy until he got it done. So this is one of the things he made me.
That's pretty cool.
See it?
That's pretty cool.
So it's a Bigfoot. Okay. And so that's one of my little mascots. But then he also made me this, and I'll take it out, but he made me, you can't really see it that well, but he made me this, and I'll take the little guy out of the cage. Here we go. And he made this. And here it's a 3D Tyrannosaurus.
Wow.
And his mouth opens up, and his tail moves, and his legs, and he can sit down like this. You guys, this is awesome. I mean, this is what he does. He does dragons. He does little like mini dogs and cats.
Super talented, man. Super talented.
Snakes. So Jeremy, if I already checked out with Josh. Josh said it was okay. So in the chat, if you want to leave your email address or your website, so people kind of look at what you're making, go ahead and put it in there. And you guys, seriously, he does a very, very good job. He's not going to put crap out just to put it out. He really takes pride in what he does. So
that's awesome, man. I'm always down to support another artist, man. That is always good. And that kind of stuff takes talent, man. That's not an easy thing to do. So, that's great, guys. So check that stuff out. Hey, Bobo, if you're still here, man, I'm looking through these photos that you sent me. Are you cool if I share some of these? Let me know in the comment if I can. He sent me some wild UFO photos, man, that I don't know what to do with. So if he's cool with it, we'll get that loaded up and share a couple of these, man, because it's pretty wild. That's one of the things that I love about doing this stuff, man, is, me and Daniel get to see a lot of cool stuff. A lot of stuff we talk about doesn't make it to air on the show or anything, but we get to see some crazy stuff. So anything you guys ever want to send us, if you send it to us in confidence, I promise you that's where it'll stay. So
absolutely.
But let me know as soon as you can, Bobo, and I will, I'll get these photos uploaded here. I'd love to share them.
Speaking of photos, did you happen to see the email that I sent you?
I did see the email that you sent me. What? I don't know this. You didn't give me any context with that.
Well, let me see if I can find the context again with that.
All right.
Oh, yeah. That is taken. Where is that? That is taken. Oh, I want to say that was in Canada.
Okay.
No. That was that in Canada? Yeah, I think it was in Canada, or it was overseas. I want to say it was like Great Britain. I think it was over here somewhere. But I'll go ahead and I'll go back and look for it again. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Let me see if it'll let me upload it here. For some reason, it's not letting me. I don't know why that is. I'm going to screenshot it, do it this way. But guys, let us know. I dropped a poll in there. Let me know what you guys think. If you think Bigfoot is flesh and blood, or if it is more the woo side. I would love to hear everybody's opinion and let me know what you guys think. So what else you got for us, man? I know you got another story for us while I'm trying to get this picture uploaded here.
So what I'll do is I got this site that has a bunch of different encounters. So if anybody on here, I'm going to take the first response. Give me a state that you want to hear an encounter, a Bigfoot encounter from. Type it in the chat.
The first response.
I'm getting crickets.
We're trying to figure out when the best time to do these lives
There
are.
we go. South Carolina.
We got one. Okay. Before you do that, I think I actually have I have this photo pulled up here, so give me just a second.
Sure.
Here we go. That's what he sent me. That's a massively big footprint, man. That's big.
The description on that was it is a size it's like a size 23 shoe.
Oh, that's massive, man.
So
That is massive. Wow. Oh, see, we got some Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Ohio, New York.
okay, so I'm gonna do South Carolina because Janet was first.
Okay, and
You know
I'll
what?
pick one.
Yeah, you pick one. I think we'll just go down the line because you guys, this it seriously has a ton on here. So this is going to be, let's see here. This one is Henry Knobbs Mountain in Clover, South Carolina. Hello, my story is about separate sightings in South Carolina. Years ago, maybe back in 1977 or 78, my sister claims that around the bottom of Henry's Knobbs Mountain in Clover, South Carolina, it was late at night when she was in a car with her friend, whom she was dating that night. Okay. She told me that this huge hairy creature picked up the back end of their car. And guys, I've never read any of these. Okay, so I'm reading them for the first time, and oh my goodness, it picked up the back end of the car that they were in and was pushing them. Her friend could not grasp hold of the steering wheel because it was thrashing so fast back and forth. My sister said the creature must have been around 9 feet tall. She and her boyfriend were terrified when they came home to tell us the story. Another sighting was at the trailer my other sister lived in that was around the same area. One night, she and my sister said they heard very heavy breathing as if the trailer itself was breathing. That following morning, my brother-in-law walked around the trailer and found one huge footprint on the ground. My niece also had a sighting in the same town when she was very young. She said she saw a hairy creature in the woods, and she saw it bite a kitten or a cat's head off.
Wow.
Also in York, South Carolina, I visited a friend who lived in a wooded area, and that they also had some pigs in the yard. It was late at night, and she told me about the creature her dad told her about. We heard this strange noise in which I believe it was a Bigfoot creature. It also sounded like a cow, like howling noises, like no other noise I'd ever heard before. That was also years ago, but I don't firmly believe that these creatures do exist. They are just way too fast or intelligent for someone to track down. Their gait when they walk is one thing, but you can imagine them running. No wonder these creatures are spotted all over the place. Another sighting my sister and her friend said that they saw in Sumner, South Carolina, back in 1998. They saw a huge hairy creature in the daytime standing beside a railroad track not far from Span's Market in the Wedgefield area. Sometimes I was wondering if a Bigfoot is tracking my sister. That's it.
You know, you never know what you're going to get with these encounters and these stories that we read, but there's a lot of wild stuff, man. I don't know, man. What do you do with that? Then again, what are you supposed to do with that? You know,
I don't know.
That's wild, man. So here's one thing I definitely want to do is everybody out there knows who well, maybe they don't. Martin Groves is, and he's been on a lot of podcasts and had a lot of strange encounters. And you know, in this live tonight, we're talking about the whether Bigfoot is just flesh and blood or more of the woo stuff. But we're going to play Martin Groves' second encounter that he had at the LBL. And if you guys have heard that before, let me know. But if not, you're in for a treat. So, you got anything else before I can play this?
No, go ahead, my brother.
Okay. Awesome. And then, guys, I got the second story pulled up, another Dogman encounter, but this one I was able to find from Georgia. So we'll get into that in just a second after this one. So check this out, guys.
My belief came out of a portal because we saw a mist. We saw what can only be described like a gray color mist on the side of the road at first. Nothing was in that mist, and then all of a sudden a creature appears, standing beside of the road. When he saw it, it was laid down. I saw it as it began to stand up, and the creature was approximately 8 foot tall in height. This thing was massive. It was nothing like I had seen in 1993. It was even bigger than the Bigfoot that I had saw. This was massive. And the only description that I can give to you is that it appeared to be something off of television. There was no way that this could be real right in front of my eyes. It was like I was seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, The Predator. This thing was translucent. It was gray in color. The back of its head and around its shoulders had Daryl explains it as a lion's mane running down. I couldn't tell what it was. It was hairy coming off the back part of its neck, and it stood up, and it had a rounded snout, and it had the head. I say it was bigger than a beach ball. It wasn't a helmet, but it wasn't a normal type head of what you depict upon what they call Dogman. This thing was just massive. The one thing the two of us could agree upon after speaking about it was that it had a rounded snout and it protruded from the face. And it had white glowing eyes that was deep set behind its forehead. I mean, it was just solid white, like flashlight, strobe light, white light. And by this time, I can't even believe what I'm seeing in front of us. So as I'm passing this object, this beast, whatever that it is, it goes behind my truck, passes behind me, and I'm looking at it in the mirror, and I'm starting to speed up to get some distance between it. And as it goes up the side of the truck, that's when something happens to both of us. Daryl's legs begin to get numb, and his eyes began to leak as if like a water faucet was turned on. I had similar symptoms, but twice as bad. As this thing passes behind my truck, it shoots up the side of the field and goes straight up one of the hills on the Devil's Backbone. This thing doesn't even look like its feet is touching the ground. Again, translucent, predator type or style. It goes right up the mountain hill. We can hear it breaking tree limbs, but yet it's not touching the ground. This thing is like it is floating. I don't even see its legs move or arm moves. It's just like watching a cartoon per se, or some type of a sci-fi flick. So this thing disappears up into the mountains. Now, getting back into the truck where he and I are, I got the truck wheel in my hand and I'm trying to drive, and my eyes begin swelling shut. What I'm about to tell you, I want you to keep in mind that I've been hit by every type known CS agent that can be used, police or military, government style of tear gas, or what they would use upon humans to subdue them. My eyes are beginning to swell shut. My tongue is swelling and I cannot get my breath. It is if someone sprayed me with the topical agent, what we call Top Cop, or one of the other higher end great CS agents that they spray to subdue someone. So I've got numbness in my legs like Daryl does, and my eyes are swollen shut, and I cannot breathe.
Dude. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that top cop. I have been sprayed with that stuff. I have sprayed people and fought people, all that stuff with it, man. And it's some nasty stuff, man. So I'm sure that really, whatever that was, I don't know what you do with that. I mean, how do you explain that? Then again, from what he described, it was more of a Dogman than it was a Bigfoot. So I don't know, guys. Pretty crazy. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let us know if you think Bigfoot is more flesh and blood, cryptids, Dogman, or if they're more than that. But hey, Daniel, could you have Jeremy put his contact info again on there so I can highlight that comment? I can't find his comment. So if he's still there,
I don't think it's allowing him doing it. Because So
I'll tell you what, guys, if you're interested in any of those things he's making, just if he can't get it to work, just send me an email and I'll get it to him. So make sure to let me know. So Bobo said that we could share those videos or those photos. So you ready to see them, man?
Absolutely.
So these are some UFO photos that he captured. So we're going to start with this one. So, guys, you see it there? It's like a silver-looking, like a Tic Tac almost.
Bro, are you serious?
Dead serious, man. He just sent it to me. So there's that one.
Bobo, where are you at?
Check out this next one, though. Check this out. That's kind of the close-up, right? I mean, you can clearly see that's, I don't know. Here's the next one. See it right up top there.
That's crazy.
And then the last one. There, he sent me several, but these are the ones I pulled up. I'd be curious to see how often he sees this thing and all the details. I think I missed all that. So the trail cam was on his barn to see all the bucks. So he was just trying to capture the bucks out in his backyard, man. That's wild.
Okay, so the last one, again, I'm not, because dude, that is crazy. That's awesome. But the last one kind of looked like a Frisbee because it wasn't that high off the ground. But again, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying I love that kind of stuff. Like that.
Too, man.
I'm telling you, I love UFOs. And
I think maybe Dogman and Bigfoot were playing Frisbee in his backyard. Maybe that's what was going on.
Maybe Bigfoot was throwing a Frisbee to Dogman because Dogman is Bigfoot's little word, I'm tired to say.
Yeah, I know, man. Anyways, so all seriously though, Bobo, thank you so much for sending that. For real, that's some pretty interesting stuff. And
I love seeing things like that.
So do I, man. So do I. It's really wild, man. And again, this is why I feel the way I do. But man, literally 5 minutes from where I had my last encounter, my dad, when I was a kid, talked about it on the channel before, had a really strange UFO encounter. If you guys want to see the video, I actually have a clip of it that I can play for you here. If you want to hear about that encounter, just comment one below if you want to hear that. But just a wild encounter that happened right down the road. All these experiences I had happened within a 5-mile radius, probably. So it makes me wonder, man. I don't know. Never saw any orbs or anything like that, but I did. There's a lot of weird stuff happened, but. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with the comments, so if I miss you, I'm sorry. There's a lot of stuff that pops up here. Let's see here if it'll let me post that.
I just sent you something.
Yeah, got it. Okay, if it'll let me post it, guys, this is a link to go to Jeremy's stuff to order some of those prints. If it'll let me. Okay, there it is.
I got a special shout out.
Do it, man. Do it.
So this young lady. I've known her since she's 5 years old. She's my daughter's best friend. They've been friends since kindergarten. And her name is Morgan, and she's in the chat. She goes, "Hey, Dan, me and Lucas tuning in." Now, Lucas is a special guy. Lucas is from Sweden, and he came to the United States. I think this is the second time he's been here. And it's just great to see him in here. And Lucas, I hope you're enjoying the show. If you have any questions, definitely ask some questions in the chat. We'll try to answer them for you.
Absolutely.
I did something special with him yesterday. It was awesome. I took both. See, I didn't know this about Morgan, but yesterday I took them both shooting, and they have never shot a gun or held a gun before.
Man,
And so I yeah.
that's an experience. If you've never done that, that's an experience. That's pretty awesome.
So
Wow.
it was in a way, it was kind of like a proud dad moment in a way.
Yeah, for sure, man.
It
That's
really was.
cool. That's super cool, man. There's nothing like it. That is really awesome. Well, you had the right guy taking you to shoot, because Daniel definitely knows his firearms. So that's really cool, man. Very cool. I did a poll and basically asking if I thought Bigfoot was more flesh and blood or more than that, and 75% say yes. So you're outnumbered. You're outnumbered. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on with that. Guys, we had 2 ones to see my dad's UFO encounter. If I get 3 more, I'll play that. It's really not that long. Pretty interesting. My dad's a pretty great guy. So, but all this stuff ties together. Just wild stuff. Daniel, 3 ones. Your vote don't count, man. You've seen it. So there's one more. Your vote don't count.
Why you take away my constitutional right?
When you become a co-host of the show, you lose those rights, man. I'm sorry.
Dang it! Just like the military.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Oh, we need one more. Oh,
No, there's 3.
There's 3. All right. Now let me make sure that I still have it lined up here to play. That would be bad. So, yeah, there it is. So it's about almost 4 minutes long. Really good. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, guys. And let us know in the comments if you have any questions for me and Daniel. If you've had an encounter, let us know. Also, email me at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to come on the show and you've had an encounter or some kind of mystery, let us know. But we'll jump right into this, and we'll be back in just a second. Why don't you tell us kind of what happened and take us back to the early 80s?
Yeah, the early 80s. It was not dark yet. It was just still dusk dark, and you could see good. But I was driving, and we come across Piney Bay, the bridge there. And I don't know why I did what I did, but I just happened to look off to my left, and over the Arkansas River, I saw a disc in the sky, and it was up quite a ways.
How big was it?
Well, I couldn't tell at that time.
Okay.
I don't know, I suppose it looked from that distance, which was a long ways across that fields and stuff. I don't know. All I can remember, it looked like it might have been as big as a car at that distance. And the thing I noticed was when the farther I went, it stayed pretty much even with me. And it was a long ways across the fields, but I could see it, but I knew where the river was. I knew which direction it flowed and everything. So I just kept going, and every once in a while I take this curious glance off to my left, and it was still there. No farther ahead, no farther behind, pretty much even. And I thought, that dumb thing's following the car. Said, well, I couldn't get away from it. So I just kept going, and there's a place that we had gotten to, and I noticed though that it had been getting closer, and the farther I went, the closer it got, and I thought, this is really strange and a little scary.
Yeah.
So Josh, we got to where I was getting ready. We went through, that's what it was. We went through Lamar and was going to turn on Brick Plant Road, which is off to the left. Well, by that time, that it was a disc, and it was just really close, and it was treetop level by that time, high by that time. And so I pulled over on the right side of the road just to see what was going to happen. Well, what happened was when the disc got a little closer, it went down behind some trees.
That's
and there
pretty
was
scary.
a house. Yeah, there was a house right there on the left called the Kettle Hut place. It went down behind those trees, and I had pulled over and stopped and was going to see what would happen next. Well, what happened next was that thing came up from behind the trees over top of the house, and it looked as big as the house. And there it was, hovering right there above the treetops, above the house, and with blue, if I'm not mistaken, it might have had blue and white, or no, it was red and white lights going around the bottom of the thing. And it just so happened there's a man across the street changing a flat tire. So I hollered at the guy, I said, "Hey, mister, what's that?" And I pointed up. He turned around and he said, "Oh, I don't know what that is." Well, I had just about all that I could handle, because I had Josh was in the back seat.
Yeah, it was
guy.
5, right? About 5.
About 5 years old. And I thought, nah, this is just too dangerous for me.
Yeah.
So we took off and went home. And I never saw anything like that close anyway. And but it's still stamped in my memory.
Yeah.
I can see each progression as that UFO, and that's what it was.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Followed us down the road, and it just scared us.
Pretty wild stuff, guys. And let me tell you about my dad, man. My dad's one of these guys that if he tells you that it happened, you can take it to the bank. He's probably the most honest person I know, and I'm not just saying that, but you know, he was, fortunately for us, you know, he was smart enough to get us out of there, you know, or we'd have been maybe missing 411 ourselves. I don't know, man, but pretty crazy stuff. Pretty wild stuff, but yeah. And that's why I think maybe I don't know what the correlation between that is and Bigfoot, but man, that happened all within a 5-mile radius. So who knows?
That's crazy.
Pretty crazy stuff, man. Pretty crazy stuff. You know, Brent he's got a good point. In the comments, he was saying how, you know, Bigfoot's, you know, basically ruined his life. And, you know, he talks about how people cut on him and labeled him as nuts, but he speaks the truth, whether they like it or not. I'm really hoping that, you know, we can change some of that and build a community where you guys can come on here and share these encounters and these things that happen to you without all the ridicule. And I want to give people a safe place to do that. So Brent, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. And if you ever decide to do, you know, you want to share your encounters, we're building pretty good community, and they just, you know, they're very supportive. So
I've been labeled nuts since the day I was born, probably.
Same. I definitely can understand that. Like, definitely. So guys, if you're just jumping on, we'd asked earlier where everybody wanted to hear encounters from, because we got some sites pulled up from different places, and Daniel read one from, where was it at, man? I can't remember now.
That one's from South Kakalaki.
Gotcha. So the next one somebody wanted to hear was from Georgia. So I got a Dogman encounter pulled up from Georgia. I've not read this. I found it. So let's jump into it together. Unless you got something before I start reading, man.
No, go ahead, dude. I'm curious. Man, again, I love Dogman encounters.
I do too, man. I just like to read about them. As long as they're not happening to me, then I'm good. So here we go. It says this happened in Georgia. My wife and I had fallen on hard times, and we were living with her mom and her husband in Caldwell Road. I grew up just about 2 miles from there. I always loved going into the woods and still do today. And I can't pronounce that word, so we're going to skip it because it is a really weird word. Anyways, the National Forest was my playground growing up, and it was unheard of for me to disappear. It was not unheard of for me to disappear for a few days in the woods. On the day in question, my wife, her mother, and I went shopping, and we're coming home on Highway 2. We were in my dad's F-150 with a brush guard on it. It was very dark and foggy that night, with Jack's River on our left, about 10 yards off the road. We were about 250 yards from Caldwell, and there was a very sharp curve to the right. When I took the curve, there was something in the road. It was on all fours. I had no choice but to hit it. When we connected, the truck went completely over it. We felt the thing thunk over the animal. I stopped to make sure the animal was dead. I did not want it to suffer, and to check the truck. The truck was okay, but when I looked at the creature, it was strange. So I got back in the truck and turned it around so I would have the headlights to see it. Let's see. I'm trying to read this. This was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. It was black but not a regular black. It was like it absorbed the light, like no light going past it. And I still couldn't make out the animal. What I was about to make out would fill the size of my young mind, and it was about 200 to 250 pounds. It was clearly dead, and the head was twisted back. I believe it went back over the neck, and it broke the neck. The eyes were blue but glassy. The eyes were turned like something is dead. It had long, curved claws. The teeth were all curled back and very sharp. I did not want to freak out my family or the girls, so I went home about 1.5 miles from there. The next morning, I grabbed my 30-30 and my 357. I went back to take a look, and it was gone. I mean, nothing was there. Again, Daniel, no blood, no fur, but there was an impression in the grass where it was at last night, and it looked like something big came along and carried it off into the woods. I could see where something walked into the woods, so I went back to the truck and got my bag. It was just a tarp, a wool blanket, 2 quarts of water, and a little bit of food, just enough to make a night or two in the woods. So that's something I wouldn't have done. There's no way I'd have went back into the woods after that. Just a camping trip and not a survival situation. And I headed into the woods to track whatever this thing was. I never saw a clear track. A broken stick here and there, leaves turned over, rocks were disturbed from the ground, that kind of stuff. So I tracked it about 2 miles to a field about a half a football field in size. Right in the middle of the field is where it disappeared. I went all over the field, and around the perimeter there was no sign of it coming out of the field, just going in. That stumped me. So I gave up and started back to the truck. But when I got back to the edge of the field, I got a very bad feeling in my gut. I can't explain it. It was so bad that I almost doubled me over. After a short while of collecting myself, I tried to head back to the truck again, but it was the same thing. I know about where I was in comparison to the roads in the area. So I headed in the opposite direction towards a friend's house about 5 miles away. I finally got out of the woods just before dark. I told my friend what had happened, and he told me to never go into the field again, that it was supposed to be cursed, and that people had gone missing over in that area. I don't know what I saw that night, and I don't know if the legend of the field was true, but I do believe that there is something strange in the woods. The woods are a part of me, and I can never stay out of the woods, and I am not afraid to go into the woods. I just want to be careful around one of those things. Anonymous said at 11:30 p.m. On 2009. So that's an older story, but pretty wild, man.
No, yeah. So my thing is this, when it's just like that one encounter when you just pointed out no blood,
Yeah.
and that was a story that I read. I don't know if it was our last live or the one before that. And I know the person's in the chat, but I don't know if he wants us to say his name, but
Right.
To do that, to come up on something that you shot, you shot it, you saw it jump, you
Yep.
saw it drop and then get back up and maybe run off.
Yeah.
Me being a hunter, I've been out in the woods since, I don't know, I think 7 was like the first time I ever sat in a deer stand with my dad, but, I remember, even myself shooting, watching it drop, then get up and then take off and, tracking it and then coming and everything was good to go. But, to go and track it, find it, and then find no blood, nothing, because if anybody's new, I read a story from someone who is I'm friends with in the chat as well. This person shot a deer, got out of the deer stand, walked back to the hunting camp, waited because they were hunting like in a hunting club. This area was like a hunting club. And he waited a couple of hours, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to need someone to help me, come out and track this deer. Can you come and help me track this deer?" And so, yeah, one of his buddies said, "Yeah, I'll go out with you." Goes out there. They pick up the blood trail. They find the deer. The deer had been ripped open, and all of the innards, all of the guts, everything inside the cavity of the deer was gone, but there was no blood.
That's so weird, man.
But the carcass was still there. So,
man, I don't know, man. That's so weird. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know how. The only explanation to me is that it's got to be more than flesh and blood. But that's just me taking an educated guess. I don't really know. But when's the last time, Daniel, that you went into the deep woods, though? After knowing what me and you know, seeing some of the stuff we've seen, hearing some of these encounters, some of the evidence that's sent to us, what's the last time that you went out into the woods, man?
1992.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That was the encounter I had with my little brother.
Well, that's a good way to end it. Yeah, definitely. I know that's a topic you don't really like to talk about, so we'll move on to something else. But yeah, man, I used to go hunting all the time, and when I was younger, I'd hunt. When I got older, I would just go out into the woods and hike and spend time out in the woods like that. And still to this day, I will sometimes, but I don't go out into the deep woods. I don't go camping anymore. I don't do any of that stuff, man, because I was talking about this in one of the lives the other day. I was on my way to a shoot, and I stopped in the middle of nowhere. I turned down this dirt road, and I got out of the car, man, and it was the creepiest, eeriest feeling, man. And I don't know if it's because we've been talking about this stuff so much and hearing all these other encounters, man, but I was very happy to get back in my car and get back on the main road, man. It just didn't feel right, So
yeah, no, I mean, when I say going to the deep woods, now I've gone deep in the woods, but it's been there's a path. I've encountered other people. When I say going in the deep woods, a regular path, and then I just branch off. I just leave the path and I go trucking through the woods. And, I try to make my own path because you never know what you're going to find out there. And that's one thing that I used to love doing. And, now it's, nope, not at all.
Nope. I get it. Just, it's once you know, right? Like once you know these things are there, once all that, and it's like, I don't know, man. I'm good. I mean, I love the woods. I still love the woods. I still love to go out into the woods, but I don't know. So speaking of the UFO, Bigfoot, and being more in flesh and blood, I'm going to play this sound clip from a channel that's really popular. Sometimes I like their stuff and sometimes I don't. But this is kind of something they come up with that. If it's the right audio, if not, I'll make sure that. I try to find it, but let's play that real quick.
According to the Cowlitz Indian tribe, these Mount St. Helens apes have lived near the mountain for over 300 years. The old Indian chiefs have told me they see white birds that land and let hairy, giant-sized people out of them that speak the language of the Aboriginal people that were here when they first arrived here. They tell the stories about these giant-sized people who carried away many Indian girls. They know how to dry salmon on flat, hot rocks in the sun and store them in caves for the winter in the high country. The Indians saw the objects drop out of the skies over 300 years ago and land with many odd-looking people that have big eyes, wear silver-colored suits that shine in the sun. They say they make their eyes hurt and burn. They said they have a blue light that stops all kinds of animals.
Weird.
The old chiefs said little people come in small white birds. Big people come out of the big white birds that do not make any sound like birds. No quacking. They said these white birds do not have any wings, and they go straight up and come straight down.
It's a wild world, man. I'll tell you right now, and this is just my opinion. And guys, you don't have to agree with me. I know Daniel doesn't, and that's what this place is for. UFOs, aliens, all this stuff. It's demonic, man. It's demonic. And I guess at the end of the day, where it comes from really doesn't matter. But it's not good, man. It's just not good.
No.
So that's just my thought, man.
Well, I mean, again, I mean, here's the thing. I wish I have an encounter where I can see these lights, potentially think, okay, and then all of a sudden a Sasquatch, I just catch him out the corner of my eye walking up a ridge or something like that. It just, I can't connect the dots, and again, with the Nephilim, I can't connect the dots with the Nephilim either. I mean, guys, I'm open-minded to it. Really, I am. I'm not closed-minded. It's just, I can't find, I'm used to going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And for me, if I'm trying to connect the dots, I'm going from 1 to 27 to 36 to 47 to 112 to 94. And it doesn't make sense to me. So,
yeah, I get that. I mean, I get that, and it's, for me, I had never really even, it's crazy and it's sad. Yeah. I didn't even know the word Nephilim was in the Bible till probably 5 or 6 years ago. And you start looking into that. It's like you research that and the fact that, basically the fallen angels came, they laid with the daughters of men, they produced this offspring, the Nephilim. And then the Bible says they were in those days and after the flood. And if you start looking at that and the genetics of what was happening, a lot of people think that, God, because of certain things, destroyed the earth. But I think it was because of the genetic stuff that was getting messed with. And so he wiped everything out and it started over. Because if you look at it, Noah was pure. I think it means pure genetically, because I think what was happening is you have all these different creatures and stuff being made that was just, that's just my opinion. I'm going off on the deep end. I mean, I could talk about that stuff all the time, but, that's just why I think that it is that way. So, yeah, but everybody can have their own opinion, man. That's just my thoughts and kind of what I get with it. And that's what makes this a good platform. So,
well, here's my view. When God, flooded the earth, he flooded the earth to cleanse it, to cleanse it of evil, to cleanse it of sin. And those that were able to, get on Noah's Ark or whatever, but it doesn't say that the entire earth was completely submerged underwater, so who knows? Who's to say that certain ones that survived, Sasquatch or whatnot, didn't get it to higher ground and survive? Because again, God knows what your heart is.
He does,
and that's the way I look at it. And people are saying that they're abominations or they're Nephilim or they're again, and I may not have the same view as everybody else, but to me, God does not make mistakes. He doesn't, and God knows 100% what is in your heart. Now, granted, there are people walking around with absolute evil, dark hearts, and they are going to do evil, dark things, and they're gonna answer for what they're doing. But I mean, here's the thing: who's to say that these creatures aren't almost childlike in a way with their innocence? Do you know what I'm saying? And again, that's way out there, but I'm not trying to sell anybody a bag of beans. I'm just trying to say that, this is a very, very, this subject is so complex and so huge. Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's a crazy world, and it's so wild because there's so many questions. And one of the things for me is especially is the more you dive into this stuff and get sucked into it, the more you walk away with questions that keep you up at night, and it changes your perspective on life and your views on things. And I don't know, man. It's weird, and I think that someday we'll find out, but it's maybe not anytime soon. So, hey, it's good to see Red Dirt Cryptid in the house. Glad to have you here, man. He does some good stuff on YouTube, guys. Go check him out. He's a great guy. I've talked to him a couple of times. Really, really good guy. But a lot of comments, a lot of people got a lot of different opinions, and that's what's so cool about this. There's just a lot of different stuff, but I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Elizabeth from New Mexico is in the house. What's up? If we've missed you in the comments section tonight, I apologize. There's been a lot of stuff, a lot of comments. So we're glad everybody's here. So we're definitely not doing that on purpose. If you've got a question for me or Daniel or want to know what we think about something, let us know. We definitely want to talk to you guys. And if you've had an encounter that you would like to share with me or come on the show, you can send it to me by email at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com. I'm a little bit behind on the emails. Things have been really crazy, but I am working on trying to get caught back up and get a hold of everybody. So, anyways, let's see. Kimberly says, let me read this comment. Genesis 7:19. They rose greatly. Well, hang on. Let me go back here. But they rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. That's true.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good point. I think, and that's why I think they're more than just physical. Here's what I think, and this people might label me crazy, but that's okay. Like Daniel said earlier, we've been there and done that a long time ago. I think personally, this is me. Fallen angels come, they lay with the daughters of men, right? They produced the Nephilim, which was the mighty men of old, renowned. They were giants. They were large, giants. When they got wiped off the face of the earth, whether by natural causes or the flood or whatever you want to do with that, I believe that when they passed, their souls were trapped here, and that's the demons that are on the earth today. I think that's where demons came from. I think fallen angels and demons are two different things. And here's where I've not settled with yet. Basically an angel can change its form. So if you want to use the word shapeshifter, I know that's weird, but if you want to use the word shapeshifter, I've seen angels twice, an angel 2 times, but they can appear as something else. I don't think that when the fallen angels fell from heaven, they lost some of their power, obviously, because they're still wreaking havoc on the earth. So why can they not shapeshift? Maybe that's what some of these people are saying. So anyways, it's pretty cool to talk about. It's interesting to me. And yeah, Not a Turkey's great. Good comment. The whole point of the show is to air it out, talk about it, and figure it out. That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're about. And we couldn't do it without this community. We're building a really good community. And everybody who's a member, I appreciate you. Everybody who just listens to the show, I appreciate you. Daniel appreciates you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to two guys, that are just having a good time drinking coffee. And what was you drinking again tonight?
I switched to zero sugar Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, cool. I'm fixing to pull out the Stanley and fill up my coffee cup, so we'll be good for a little bit longer. Nice. But I screenshotted the comments. Somebody was asking where they wanted to hear a story from next. Man, do you remember? I think it's Texas. AAO wants to hear an encounter from Texas. So if you've got one pulled up, man,
sure,
let's do it.
It'll take I wrote down a list. I got Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Ohio, New York.
New York.
So let's hit Texas. Let's see here. Let's try this one right here.
While he's loading that up, guys, if you're curious what kind of coffee I'm drinking, plug for myself. We launched a coffee, a Mysteries Unknown coffee this week, and you can go to my channel, and it's under one of the community posts that I've made where I dropped the link. But I'll try to remember to put the link on the show tonight before I jump off here. So.
And I don't even drink coffee, and I'm going to buy a bag. My wife drinks coffee.
Oh, does she?
Drinks coffee, yeah. So
why don't you drink coffee?
Bro, when I was in the military, I got coffeeed out.
Mm.
Like when you sit in a fire team building, a hardened structure with gun ports in it, and you have 2 armored vehicles in there, and it has no windows. And so you're sitting in this building waiting for something to kick off so you can come swarming out like angry hornets, and you got to stay awake for anywhere between 8 to 16 hours. You tend to drink a lot of coffee, and I got to where I was drinking like 3 to 4 pots of coffee a shift, and that's just myself. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
I can relate to that, man. You know, my first day on the job as a police officer, I didn't know what to expect. And we had this old lieutenant, man, he was always gripey. And first day is like, if you can't pass this test, I'm going to send you home and your career's over. So I'm like, what in the world are you going to do to me? You know? So he takes me to the very, very back of the facility and he pours me a big old black cup of coffee. I didn't drink coffee at that point in time. And I was like, okay, I'll drink it. But man, on third shift, that became one of my best friends. So
Yep.
I get it. It's super important to have, but I can say you'd be burnt out on it, I guess, but I don't know, man. I drink a lot of it, but anyways.
Well, it's not that I don't drink it ever. Every once in a while I'll have a cup of coffee or two, but other than that, it's not something, it's not my go-to. Water is my go-to. You know, after water, it's almond milk. And after that, it's, you know, a soda here and a soda there. So
Nothing wrong with that, man.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
oh, tea. I like tea. Arnie Palmer's.
Tea's good. Tea's good.
So, but being diabetic, you know, I have to really watch what I put in my body. So,
Definitely.
okay. So here we go. We got one from Texas. So AAO, here we go. This is in Fort Bend County, Texas, near the the Brazos River, approximately 2006. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. A friend of mine, a special ed teacher in Texas, helped me log into the database a sighting as reported by two of her students. This is the special ed teacher's story. Two of my gifted and talented class students lived in a subdivision that had a tributary of the Brazos River and lots of cover for the deer and other wildlife. The two girls, who are seniors in high school now, were the only players on the 9th hole of a golf course. One of them was on the putting green while the other waited beside their golf cart. Both girls heard a horrible commotion in the woods to the left of the green. Less than 30 yards away, and on the other side of the green, a tall, hairy, long-armed thing suddenly ran into a cleared area across the trail leading back to the clubhouse. The thing stopped, looked at the girls. They were frozen with shock because I told their class Bigfoot stories, and we'd had a number of intelligent discussions about these creatures. The girls felt sure they were looking at one. It's not uncommon. There have been sightings of Bigfoot in our county west of Houston, Texas in the past. It happened around 6 p.m. on May 16th. About 4 years ago on the golf course, 9th hole at Sienna Plantation Subdivision in southeast corner of Fort Bend County. The creek which ran through the golf course was a tributary. Am I saying the right? Tributary? Yeah, of the Brazos River. There was a sighting along the river farther east and south of Brazoria County. Brazoria County is along the Texas Gulf Coast south of Houston. Fort Bend is north and somewhat west of this county. There have been Bigfoot sightings in both counties, but not recent ones. I've lost touch with these girls, both who are now seniors in high school here in Fort Bend County. I've tried to get them to report the incident, but they feared that their parents would not let them play golf at the club where it happened. Aw.
So sad. That's weird, man. You never know when these encounters are going to pop off, man. You just don't know. I had a guy that came on the show, and he was from Oklahoma City. And his encounter it didn't happen there. It happened, I believe, in Indiana. But he was telling me that in Oklahoma City, he could take me right to the spot where there were Bigfoot creatures in the city. I didn't know what to do with that. I hadn't heard anything like that before, but I don't know. I'm not there. I didn't go, but it just, you never know. You never know. So Bobo says that he's just had one sip of coffee and that was enough. I just can't wrap my head around that. I can't do it.
For the longest time. Now, this is funny. I was probably fourth grade, maybe fifth grade, and my dad would always, drink. I knew he'd drink coffee during the week, stuff, but I know on the weekends he really loved his coffee, and that's when whenever I'd see him, I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I have a sip of your coffee?" And he'd be like, "No, you can't have a sip of my coffee." And I'd see him put a little creamer in there, and I'm like, "Dad, come on, let me have a sip of your coffee." He's like, "No, Daniel Anthony, you cannot have any of my coffee." Well, he poured himself a cup of coffee, and I heard him go to the bathroom. And so what did I do? I snuck in there to take a drink of coffee. And I took a sip of coffee, and it smelled delicious. So I took a sip of coffee, and I quickly put it down because it did not taste as good as it smelled, right? And as I go running back, I guess I have this look on my face, and my dad just looked at me. He's like, "What did you just do?" I go, "Nothing." He looked at me. He goes like, "I'm telling you right now." He goes, "You better tell me what you did." And I go, "Dad," he goes, "Did you have a sip of my coffee?" I go, "Yes, I had a sip of your coffee." I go, "Dad, it tastes gross." I said, "It smelled good, but it tastes gross." And he goes, "Good, don't ever try it again." I come to later find out that on the weekends, like on Saturday and Sunday, my dad liked to put a little bit of amaretto in his coffee. so
Wow.
So it wasn't until later on, that I'd be like, "No."
That's hilarious, man.
Now I've had coffee with amaretto in it before.
That is so funny, man. Well, no wonder he didn't want you drinking the coffee.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. Hey, guys, I've got a pretty good story here that, and this brings up a good point. A lot of people come on the show, they send me encounters and they want to come on and share it. But sometimes people send encounters and they don't want to share it, but they want to get it off their chest. And so we'll either read it or we'll do something with it. But if you've got an encounter that you're not really sure that you want to share live or be interviewed, send it to us. We'll either I'll read it or Daniel will read it. But I had a lady send me a pretty incredible encounter. Her name is Tammy, and she's okay with me sharing it, but she asked that, we share it. We don't say where it was from or anything like that, but pretty wild. So I'm going to play this and let me know what you guys think. This kind of ties into the whole woo thing, but this is more of a Dogman encounter than anything else. You guys seem to really like those. So, story was sent to us by a lady who wishes to remain anonymous. Demon Dog from Pennsylvania. At this time, my first husband and I lived with his grandmother. I was about 20 and my husband was 23. His grandmother was in her 80s. We lived in the middle of the sticks in a 2-story farmhouse. The place had only cold running water in the kitchen, no bathroom or furnace. The house was heated by an old coal cook stove, big and cast iron. The outhouse sat behind the house several yards away. The night this happened, I had to get up to go to the bathroom. I never went outside to the outhouse. We had a chamber pot in the other room. This box is wooden with a groove to slide a rim of the bucket into, similar to the toilet chairs used in nursing homes. The room upstairs, you must go into one room to get to the other. So I got up, went to the door to open it, and as I touched the door, I heard growling. Because of my groggy state, it didn't register until I opened the door. I immediately felt evil in my bones. In the darkness, I could feel the presence of terror. I heard the growling. Slowly, the beast became illuminated from within, like fire and a stench of brimstone. For a second, I thought it was a nightmare, but no, I was awake. Slowly, the beast advanced. It was weird. The room was not very big, yet these beasts seemed to come from a distance towards me. As it got closer, I was frozen to the spot like a mouse in the sights of a cat. I began to recite scripture. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. All at once they leapt at me, going through me. I'm still frozen to the spot. Behind me, I hear still hitting still. I hear growling and a struggle. Then, just as quick, all went quiet. I heard nothing. However, I felt an overwhelming feeling of peace and love. I felt safe. I tried to tell my husband about it, and he scoffed at me and said I was dreaming. He would tease me about it and make fun of me, so I kept quiet. I had another weird thing happen. I saw a lizard thing walking on 2 legs crossing the road. That whole thing was strange, and the next day, the minivan I had driven the night before caught on fire. A total loss. Very strange. I had told my husband again, and he didn't believe me until the next day because he was driving when the van burned up at about the same place I saw the thing the night before. There are demons in this world just like there are angels. I believe demons are here to deceive and kill. I believe they can shapeshift. Well, that's it. Hope you have a blessed day. I can understand why she didn't want to share that story live. So
Yeah.
that's pretty traumatizing, man. I don't know. And, I really believed her from talking to her and stuff. And, then again, it's just another thing that's like, that's got to be more than flesh and blood, but pretty crazy stuff. Guys, got a lot of members in here tonight. So I just wanted to address something that I have not forgot to send out the packages, the welcome packages. They're almost done. So we should have those out this week. So there's 3 days left. If you join $2.99 or above, my wife has put together a welcome package, something small, just to say thanks for being part of this community. And I haven't forgot. And I will absolutely email you once those are sent out to you. But make sure if you've not sent me your address yet, that you email that to me at mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com and just put members in the title. So anyways, a lot of good comments in here, man.
I know, man. I'm reading. I'm trying to reply to some a lot of these people, but I guys, I can't thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for coming on in here. It's who would have thought, Josh? What, it's been almost a year now, I believe.
Almost a year, yeah.
That you and I we do it. We do. I tell you one of my stories. One of my encounters, and here's our friendship. And I still remember. I think this is like our 10th or 11th live.
I think so. Yeah.
And you just come out of nowhere and you're like, hey, man, would you be willing to do a live? And I'm like, yeah, sure. But I didn't think it was going to be something like this, And now I'm looking at everybody and I feel like everybody that I'm seeing in here are like honestly, like part of my family, like for real. Because you see so many people come back and it's like you don't see or hear from them for a week, or some people, like there's a few people on here that I hear from that they'll send me, messages on Facebook and stuff like that. And I love it. And, it seems like whenever you say, hey, do you want to do a live? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So, I'm glad.
So man, it's awesome. I had no idea that we would strike up such a friendship, man, and build something like this. So I'm excited about it, and it's been crazy. It's been a really the year's gone by fast. It's hard to believe that I think I'm almost at 97 videos so far. It's not counting lives. I don't think. It's just been an amazing ride, and man, I'm just glad that you said yes to doing the lives, because it's a whole other level to this thing that gets us involved with the community. And man, we just love to come on here, and me and Daniel just, I don't know, we didn't know what to do the first time, but it just kind of worked out. It was my wife's idea. She's like, I think it was when they were it was on the eclipse 3 months ago, man, 3 months ago. And she's like, you guys need to do a live and tie that with the talk about the eclipse and stuff. And we did, but it took us one show to find our groove, I think. I mean, it was, one of those things you can't script. So what you guys see is what you get with me and Daniel. I mean, on these lives, this is just who we are. And we talk about every day, man, about this stuff. So
we do
hash this stuff out.
We have big dreams, man. Big
dreams. Yeah. We're going to ride this thing out and just, bring everybody with us. But man, thank you, for the two. I still can't get used to some people sending chats like that, or sending the stuff, man. I appreciate that, man. You're awesome for doing that. Just so very grateful. So very, very grateful that we get to do this, and love the support, man. It's awesome.
I love it when we see it. It's just $1 here, $2 there. Whatever it is, but it always helps, and it actually supports the channel. I know Josh isn't really pocketing the money. He says he's going to get coffee for it, but I know that what he does is he goes and he puts it back into the show. So,
I try to, yeah. I try to make things better, and it gives me the time to do this. And because guys, if you don't know, like, it really is, this is work. It's time. Daniel takes time out to do these research to find these stories, and doing these episodes every Monday. It's hard, but it's fun, and we love it. And so every little bit helps. And Daniel, you got to quit doing that, man.
What are you talking? Oh, that was a glitch.
Yeah, that was a glitch. That's not a glitch. You can't do that anymore, man. Like, it doesn't work that way. But
glitch.
I thanks. I don't know what to say, man.
It's a glitch.
Dude, you're awesome.
I was part of that IT hack.
Oh, is that what that was? Something tells me I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you at all. That's funny.
No, hey, you guys, and don't be sorry if you can't do a live,
absolutely.
Chat. Don't be sorry. Just you guys being here, subscribing, hitting the thumbs up, sharing it. Don't forget to hit your bell so you guys kind of know, give you guys when we put something up new. But hey, definitely, you guys, just seriously, just being here for the hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever.
That's it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. And that's the best way you can support this channel and this community that we're building is to tell people, share it, like it, all that stuff. I mean, that's the best thing that you can do. And that helps the channel grow. I think I was looking today, I think it's like over 7,000 subscribers, which is mind blowing. Yeah. My goal was to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I think we're going to reach it. So it's just wild.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, guys, tell everybody, if you like this kind of stuff. And Paw Power, you are awesome, man. Thanks for the support. Yeah, you're awesome. Taff, I love you too, buddy, man. Taff the Wanderer was the first person to ever be on the show, period. He didn't have a Bigfoot encounter, but he helped me get going, and we talked about it. So, man, I'm just grateful for the community. So, and everybody just jumping on here. So, let's get into another story, man. I mean, I get caught up talking about this stuff. It gets me all emotional. So what are we going to do? Where are we going, man? Where are we going?
We're going to Ohio.
Hey, my dad's from Ohio. I spent a lot of time there. So let's do it.
This is for Morgan County, Ohio, July 4th, 2012.
Okay.
Ohio Grassman encounter.
There's the Grassman again.
My husband and I just spent July 3rd through the 7th camping in southeast Ohio at a private lake, which we prefer not to name. On the night of the 4th of July, around 11:30, we were on the private lake, which borders the west side of a stretch of power lines. One of our friends in a kayak smelled a strong musk skunk-type odor from the west side of the lake. The wind was blowing to the east. At the same time, we heard crashing branches like something was running through the woods over to the east side of the camp on the other side of the power lines. She brought the kayak back to shore, and then her boyfriend took the kayak out to the deepest end of the lake. All of a sudden, a huge rock the size of a full-grown German shepherd flew across the road, which runs all the way around the lake, over the bank, over the grass line, and into the lake. This was approximately 20 yards from the kayak. Then our friend in the kayak antagonized it, really just trying to scare it away by pounding his paddle on the kayak and yelling, "Hey, you big ape!" Then the grass man threw a second rock even bigger than the first. It landed a lot closer, within roughly 10 yards of his kayak. The three of us on the bank were approximately 100 yards from the creature, and our friend in the kayak was roughly 30 yards. We all saw the creature. He was peeking out from behind the tree. He rocked his body back and forth from side to side. Then he moved to the water line and then back. At that point, my husband set off 3 bottle rockets thinking it would scare him off. He then loaded his 12-gauge shotgun. He didn't want to harm it or make it mad. He just didn't want it to get any closer. The creature seemed to stand about 4.5 to 5 feet tall with no neck. He may have been a juvenile or was crouching down. He looked very thick in the chest, a thick torso, broad shoulders, and glowing dark yellow eyes. He was light to medium brown, the color of the tree bark. We had our really big mag light with new batteries pointing right at him. We thought we heard another one just south of us, possibly calling the creature with a whoop sound. Then the Grassman disappeared to the south. We think they were two adults around the outside of the camp, and what we encountered was a juvenile. We were all so excited from our encounter that we stayed up until daylight. The whole time we were there, before and after the encounter, my husband... sorry, guys. We heard a baby crying, a woman screaming, and heavy breathing at different times. My husband also heard strange whistles, whooping sounds, and even a tree fell over in the woods on the other side of the lake. We all heard that. In the years past, at this same camp, we've heard things and smelled things, but never had the encounter we had that year. What a rush. My husband believes they use the power lines as a trail. We truly believe there are more than one Grassman around our camp this year. It was a full moon that night, so he possibly could have been darker in color, but his hair was shiny from the moon glow and flashlights. This is true to the best of our account. It's changed the way we think about going in the woods for the rest of our lives. Sincerely, Sally and Neil. And this was written on Thursday, July 12th, at July 12th, 2012 at 7 p.m. That's amazing.
Whew. Yeah, that's pretty amazing, man. It's wild. I wouldn't, I mean, like, why go back in the woods at all, right? I mean,
for sure.
I mean, like, why? That's crazy. I don't know, man. That's really crazy. You know, again, it's one of those things that you put not on the shelf, but you put in the shelf of your mind, and it's like you lay at night and you think about these things, and it's like, man, I don't know. I have so many questions that need answers to, and I think that's what happens with people once they have these encounters. You go down a rabbit hole of questions that lead to more questions that lead to more questions, and it's just a wild world. But hey, guess what, man? Guess who's here?
I'm not sure.
Pork and Beans. What an awesome name. He said, is it okay for you guys to retell your encounters? So Pork and Beans, here's the deal. Tomorrow on Monday at 11:30 Central Time, I'm dropping an episode that has all three of my encounters in it and one of Daniel's encounters. By the way, did I tell you you're in tomorrow's episode? I didn't tell you, but you know now. So one of his encounters and then all three of mine. So you guys, if you want to hear that tomorrow, it's good. So go check those out. I'll be dropping that tomorrow about 11:30, which I do every Monday. I try to. So far, I've not missed anything. So, and then also tomorrow night, I'm not going to tell you guys who, but Daniel set up an amazing interview for me that I have tomorrow at 5:00. I'm really excited about that. So,
and Harley, if you're still in the chat, Harley, please do not spill the beans.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't spill the pork and beans.
Don't spill the pork and beans. Righto, that's awesome. So I think you haven't done one from Oklahoma yet, have you?
I'm actually getting ready to pop one up right now.
I've got one from Oklahoma. I got one. Do you want to see if you can find one from Arkansas or New York?
Yeah, I can do that too. Mine's a super short one, but I'll go ahead and find one.
No, do it. We can do two. We can do two. I'll read mine, then you read one from Oklahoma.
Okay, so here we go. This one happened in Murray County, Oklahoma in 1993. In Texas, North Dallas, urologist Dr. Nathan Graves filed this 1993 sighting with this person in October of 2012. Dr. Nathan Graves states, I had a sighting at the Arbuckle Mountains near Doherty, Murray County, Oklahoma. We looked up 400 yards away from where was a okay. We looked up 400 yards away where there was a 14-foot cedar tree. A large black 9-foot creature, roughly 3 to 4 feet wide, stepped out from behind a tree and stared at us, and then stepped back in behind the green cedar tree. The creature was dark black. The other person with us thought it was big as a truck. 2 weeks later, I went and looked at the tree and surrounding terrain. Beneath the tree was mainly solid rock. This area of the Arbuckle has a lot of underground caves. I'm a surgeon in the Dallas area with 2015 vision. So him telling us that means he had a very, very good
sight.
Yeah.
Wow. I think unless you've seen one of these things, you don't understand how big they are. And it's just hard to put it in perspective, man, and how weird they look in a place they're not supposed to be. So it's definitely a wild world, man. I don't know. This one I pulled up, man. Good encounter, man. You're finding some good ones tonight, by the way.
I got good ones.
You do, man. So this encounter is from Tulsa County, Oklahoma, and it's another Dogman encounter. So I've not read this yet, guys, so we're just going to read it together. So hopefully it's a good one. I heard my dog barking and growling around 3 a.m. one night. I got up and went to our back door to see what she was barking at. When I did, I saw her running up and down the backyard fence line, barking, growling, and urinating all along the fence with her tail tucked in. My first thought was predator. I knew something was wrong. I focused my eyes to see if I could see what she was barking at. I saw something bent over in a circle that was black and looked like it had a mane like a lion. I looked at it for about 15 seconds and decided to run to the bedroom and get my head wrapped around light. I don't know what they meant by that, but wrapped around a light. So I put it on my head and I ran to the back den and I saw that it was still there. I carefully turned on the light and shined it right on it. When I did that, it turned around and looked in my direction. Then it ran down the fence line with a smaller one in front of it. The best way I can describe it would be to say that it was the size of a lion. It had yellow eyes, pointy ears, huge shoulders, and a huge chest. It ran on all fours. Also, this thing was so fast, it only took about 2 seconds to run down the fence line. This wolf, quotation marks, was way faster than my dog. I woke up my wife and told her what had happened. I then went to the computer and Googled huge wolves in America. Under images, I found a cartoon of a drawing someone did with the head and mane that looked just like what I saw. It was called a Dogman. Today is April 25th, 2016, and that's when they reported their sighting. Pretty crazy stuff, man, in Oklahoma. There's a lot of stuff coming from Oklahoma, man.
Yeah.
It gets, people overlook it, but there's a lot in Oklahoma and Arkansas. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason. So, pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary stuff. Guys, if you're still here, let us know in the comments. If this is your first live tonight, let us know. Let us know where you guys are from. And if you have a question for me and Daniel, let us know. We would love to talk to you. And, hope everybody's having a good night. I am I'm ready for Monday. You ready for Monday, man?
No.
No. That's a good way to answer.
I just have a ton of work at work, and it's we just had our new VP of our organization, within the company. Our company has different organizations and we have a new VP and he came in and everybody's kind of walking on eggshells because from what I heard, again, it's fear mongering pretty much from certain people. They like to spread rumors and they're saying, oh, this person is he likes to close centers. And, I've been there almost 26 years and that's the last thing I want to do is have something,
right.
Right. I don't like to have my livelihood in the hands of people who don't give a crap about their own.
Nope.
So, but if something like that happened, honestly, you guys, I would be pouring full time into this, like legit full time. So,
Yeah.
hey,
man.
Janet, what's going on? Oh, you're not late.
Hey. No, you're good, Janet. Hey, Janet, I worked on your package today, so we'll be sending that out really, really, really soon. So glad you're here.
And
Better
Brent,
late than never.
I've heard that as well.
Let's see.
The Dogman, I've heard that as well.
What did you say? I missed it.
Brent said some people are confuse Wendigos with Dogmen. I've also heard them that they confused Wendigos with Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And everything that I know about Wendigos are, like I mentioned before, it's from what I understand, it's like a Native American folklore where it's like a warrior or brave or a medicine man or something like that, and they eat flesh, and they turn into the Wendigo, and then they seek out those who see. If you see the Wendigo, you're it's a bad omen. You're going to die. That's what they're saying. So
no thanks.
Hey, Bobo and I think Cheryl are having conversations that are really catching my eye. And you guys, if you can please email Josh anything and everything about what you're talking about, and so he can get it to me. And the reason being is, you guys, I go to Cadillac, Michigan a lot. I go to Cadillac, Michigan. I go to Boone. I go to Bay City. So yeah, if you guys can
fill us in,
please send an email so I could read it, because I definitely want to hear. Honestly, because my son's fiance, her family has 40 acres of land that back up to some state forest or national forest that's right there, like in Boone, Cadillac area, and it starts with an M, and I'm not sure what the name of that forest is, but I've read that there are been sightings of Bigfoot. Yes, that's it right there, Cheryl. That's the one. Yeah, like they have 40 acres of land that backs right up to that. And so oh my gosh, I would love to go out there and just goof around.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
So Cheryl, please email the show, mysteriesunsolvedpodcast@gmail.com. And just any information you have, I would love to dive more into it. Like where I can read these accounts, where I can read these encounters, because I just love it. And then I just want to scare the crap out of my son too. So
yeah. Send it to mysteriesunknownpodcast@gmail.com.
Did I say it wrong?
You did, but that's all right.
Oh, what did I say?
It's because you didn't drink any coffee.
What did I say?
You didn't say unknown. You said something else. I don't remember.
Oh my God.
Unsolved. Mysteries unsolved.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm fired.
Yeah.
It's mysteries unknown podcast@gmail.com. So
yeah. It's all good, man. It's all good. Tomorrow's Monday.
I got one loaded for Arkansas too when you're ready for it.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm always ready for Arkansas stuff, man. I'm down with that.
Dude, I'm super excited for you tomorrow. You know why I'm excited.
Oh, I know. I'm excited too, man. I'm ready.
And about that time, I'm going to be at dinner with celebrating my nephew's 30th birthday with our family, and then right after that, I got to head over to the airport, pick up my son and his fiance and our granddaughter. So
awesome.
All right, here we go. This is, and let me know if you know where this is. Benton in Saline County, Arkansas.
Yep, know right where it's at.
Fall of 1993. It was roughly 4:30 p.m. north of Benton, near the Avila community. The nearest highway or road is Lawson Road. It's roughly a small farms, timber production, with continued residential development. Foothills of the Ouachita. How do you say it?
Ouachita
Mountain.
Ouachita. Yeah.
Okay, Ouachita Mountains. The area is about 3 miles east of Lake Norrell and bounded to the west by Caney Creek. Panther Creek heads about 2 miles southeast, and the North Fork of the Saline River lies 2 miles to the southwest. So this person's really putting in some like, hey, this is where it happened. The witness is 25 years old, lived in the area from about age 7 to 18, spent a lot of time in the woods and along the creek hunting and fishing. He said that he often camped alone, except for his dog, in the surrounding woods. Prior to the encounter and incident, at the time he was roughly 11 or 12 years old. He had gotten off the school bus and was walking towards his home, which was on a dead-end road. As he neared the intersection of the trail that led into the pine thicket, which contained a large briar patch about 30 yards off the road, he saw a pine tree shaking vigorously. He was surprised to see the tree move and walked down the trail towards it to see what was causing the movement. As he got within 15 feet of the tree, he could see it was about 30 feet tall and roughly 6 inches in diameter. Through the briar thicket, he could see something standing behind the tree and could hear a low grunting and moaning sound. He slowly moved sideways around the thicket until he could see the tree more clearly. He then saw a large hair-covered animal that was standing on 2 feet and rubbing its back against the pine tree. Because the thicket blocked part of the view of the animal, he could not see. He could only see part of the left shoulder and part of the back on that side. The animal was squirming and rubbing the tree along its spine and grunting and moaning contently as it did so. The animal was apparently unaware of his presence. Although he had spent a lot of time in the woods, he could not understand what he was seeing. Although he had never seen a bear, he decided that was what he was watching. He watched it for another 15 seconds and started back down the pine thicket to the road, and then ran home to tell his family about that he had seen a large brown bear. They did not believe him. When asked the height of the animal, the witness pointed out a nearby bird house mounted on a post and said that it was just about the same height as the top of the birdhouse. The top of the birdhouse was roughly 7.5 feet off the ground. He stated the animal had long hair that was brown but streaked with lighter colors. He said the hair was somewhat matted and dirty looking. He saw neither the face nor the hands and only a small part of the hair on the left side of the animal's head. He said that when he was about 9 years old, he first heard the sound of what appeared to be a woman screaming in the distance in the woods near his home. It was daylight and he was alone outside. He said the sound was so loud and pitiful that it distressed him to the point where he began to cry and then ran towards the sound in the woods. When the sound stopped, he continued to cry but didn't shout for the woman to shout back so he would know where she was at, so he could try to help her. Boy, that's pretty awesome for a 9-year-old boy wanting to run out in the woods and help somebody.
Right.
He got no immediate response, so he continued slowly walking, looking and fully expecting to see an injured woman. After a few yards, he stopped and listened. Then he heard the same sound coming from 2 different directions and off at a greater distance than he heard before. He was confused about what was going on, and after a while, he slowly walked back to the yard. When he mentioned the sound to the adults, they said that he was hearing panthers, and there had always been some in the area because of the nearby creek. The creek was named for them, Panther Creek. He never believed them because the sounds were human-like. Over the next few years, he heard the sound 3 more times, but they were heard at night. He stated it always distressed him greatly to hear those sounds, and he never knew their origins. 6 years ago, he was camping one night in the woods above upper end of Lake Norrell when during the middle of the night he heard a loud animal sound that could not be identified. A few minutes later, he heard the sound of large rocks being banged together on the hill above the lake. He stated that at no time during his time in the woods did he ever feel threatened, but the strange sounds he heard when he was in the woods were so common that they seemed normal to him. The North Fork of the Saline River passes through this area. The river basin from this area to the river's beginning is sparsely populated. The river heads of the, how do you say the woods again, the mountain? Washita National Forest. And there have been numerous reports of a reclusive forest primates from the head of the river to the general area of this sighting. Are you kidding me?
The Washitals, man, there's a lot of weird stuff out in the Washitals. A lot. It's a weird area, man. There's if you've never been there, the Hot Springs is not very far from where they're talking about. And Hot Springs was the very first state park ever, but it is a very, rural. It's pretty rural in certain areas, but man, there's a lot of rural areas once you get out of Hot Springs and out of Benton, that area. But a lot of weird stuff, man. A lot of people go missing up in that area. I spent a lot of time as a kid up that way, but yeah, some weird stuff, man.
Awesome.
That was a good one. Believe it or not, I found one from New York, and I think that's our last one that somebody requested. Taft the Wanderer did, and Taft just texted me, said he's out. He's got to work early in the morning, but he said he'd come back and watch it. So this is a Oswego County, New York encounter. And if I've said that county wrong and you're from there, I apologize. So, all right. So I used to fish at Great Bear for catfish late at night. I had a hunting dog that was part wolf. He was well trained. I lived in the woods after my divorce. I pulled up in my truck and let the dog out, lit a lantern, took my shotgun out. I always did that. I noticed the dog in the shadows. He was looking, but he never barked. My dog was fearless. He would bring back coons, muskrats. I let him hunt on his own. I heard a loud crack. I looked. My dog was growling. I heard another loud crack, and my dog was now backing up, showing his teeth. Never did he act like this. I was very scared. I never got scared. I am a fighter with a reputation. What I saw blew my mind and scared me still to this day. This thing was on all fours with ears. It stood up partway, then went back down. I'm a hunter, and I can promise you this thing was no bear. Its ears were pointed. It was around 1 to 2 a.m. It never moved. My dog kept showing its teeth and growling. In my mind, I was thinking, what am I going to do? I think it turned its head. This thing was jet black. My dog had been around bear. Never did he act like this. It seemed to be moving, but not turning or walking back to the front. This was not real in my mind. Partly stood up again. I had a feeling of peace along with I'm scared out of my mind. It was beautiful but dangerous. I had a feeling that the thing wanted to get me. It would. I would love to see it again. No doubt it could kill me if it wanted to, but it would bring too much attention to itself. They are real. I definitely don't agree with, wanting to see one of these things again after that or thinking that's a beautiful moment. That doesn't sound very beautiful to me, but I wasn't there. So
I would definitely love to see another one, but under different circumstances.
A long ways off. Very, very far away. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. It's been really good. We always love hanging out with you guys. Just a couple housekeeping things. If you joined as a member and you haven't received your packet yet, it's because we haven't sent it out yet. Working on those, almost got them done. So we'll be sending it out probably towards the end of this week. If you've not sent me your mailing address, make sure to do that so I can get you guys on the list and get that stuff sent out. It's just something simple to just say thanks for being a member. I appreciate everybody being here. But man, Monday's coming early, dude.
Why you gotta be a killjoy?
I know, right? One of these days we're gonna have to do a 3-hour show. I mean, we're generally 2 hours, something like that, but we need to do a 3-hour show sometime, but not tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here. I could sit here all. If I didn't have to work tomorrow, man, I honestly.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. It's always fun hanging out with everybody and love this community that we're building out. I know there's a lot of people talking in the comments. I can't even keep up. So if I missed you guys, if I missed you, there's just so much I couldn't keep up with it. But Bobo, thanks for sending me that stuff. Thanks for sending me your encounter. I will read that and get back to you. Would love to have you on the show. I'll reach out to you to see if we can get that set up. So guys, don't miss tomorrow's episode. Drop it about 11:30 Central Time. A lot of good encounters. Daniel's story, one of Daniel's stories is in there, as well as mine. So it's going to be a good podcast, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, everybody, thank you again so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. Get in there and check out the link in the show to Josh's coffee. Get yourself a bag of coffee. Give it as a gift. If you don't like to drink coffee, just give it as a gift. And remember, you're not only supporting the show, but you're supporting a small business. And if you look at it, small businesses are what help America, keep moving. So,
well, yeah, we really do appreciate the support. Don't take it lightly, and we know we're blessed to be able to sit here and do this. So I'm glad you guys enjoy the show and all the comments, man. You guys are awesome. Couldn't do it without this amazing community. So make sure to like, subscribe, share the videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the best way you can help us out. And yeah, man, I am out. You got anything else?
I don't, man. I really don't. I'm probably going to do a recording and send it to you. I'm just going to read like one of these stories, So
yeah, do it. Send it to me. We'll do it on our next live. And guys, I'm going to say it. I'm always going to say it. Stay prayed up. It is so very, very, very important. We're out of here. See you in the next episode.